Hey guys, and welcome to yet another glorious Immortal Empires Early Access Showdown. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and today my opponent shall be the mighty indypride of Milk and Cookies Total War. We've been having a bucket ton of games against each other, so expect to see us probably on each other's channels quite a bit for the foreseeable future. It is the mighty forces of the Ogres. We come from man flesh, the most delicious of all flesh, alongside the mighty duck, of course. And in the distance, we have a Bretonia facing us down with what is one of the scariest units in the game, particularly in this matchup. The Royal Hippogriff Knights go absolutely berserk this game, but we'll get to them in just a second. Let's go through our build first. So on the left-hand side, we have some Gnoblar trappers lurking in the trees. We've got a similar situation on the far side. Their main plan, of course, is to go all sneaky-beaky-like into the enemy back line and shut down peasant archers. And I hadn't played this matchup before, and my main fear out of everything was indeed the peasant archers. So I've got quite a few tools to attempt to deal with them. Gnoblar front line may not be impressive, but at least they're here, they showed up, and that's got to count for something. We do have double Gnoblar scrap launcher in the back, once again completely designed to take down the peasant archers. Right in the central pocket, we have some iron guts, going to be fantastic in this matchup. Decent amount of armor to hold the line against cavalry, and they whack back pretty damn hard. We also have tuners or crushers with great weapons lurking and hiding in the trees, one on either flank. We do have a lone hunter on a stonehorn. I think 110 armor is going to make him pretty damn durable up against the enemy cavalry, and our battle line shall be led by a slaughtermaster of the Great Moor, coming in with that juicy heal, as well as a bone crusher. Apart from us, and on the far side of the battlefield, there's a load of peasant mobs. It's not really a Bretonia build without one or two peasant mobs kicking it around. There's also a load of spear and halberd units, as you'd expect. Spinner arms in the front line, halberds in the second, one of which I believe somewhere hidden is the Beast Slayers of Baston, which are pretty badass. You can see in the distance as well, we have the Companions, regiment-renowned Questing Knights, and up in the skies we have Alberic, who will be given a bonus versus large to all of the Royal Hippogriff Knights, which is massive. It turns them from powerhouses into god-tier warriors of legend. There is also a Damsel Life down in the trees here, and she's going to be trotting to the tune of a fire engine, it sounds like, going outside my window, so hopefully that wasn't too loud there for you. Damsel Life is going to be coming in with regrowth and earthblood, really trying to make the most out of Alberic as well as the Royal Hippogriff Knights. There is definitely the Beast Slayers somewhere. There we go, they are in the back pocket, and there's a load of archers, and the force of Bretonia march upon the Ogre Kingdoms, as we're just going to sit back and launch shots down range. Seems like we've been relatively inaccurate so far, but there we go, we kill a couple of peasants. Hey, 4 dead peasants is better than no dead peasants. I'm hoping my boys can get their iron a little bit earlier than this, otherwise the battle lines will close and those peasant archers are going to wreak bloody havoc amongst my lines. We do have the Gnoblar trappers going really wide at the moment, round behind my opponent, trying to at least harass the peasant bowmen. The good thing about the trappers here is even if they don't kill the archers, they force my opponent to move reinforcements back to stop them, in the likes of the cavalry and the Royal Hippogriff Knights. Peasant bowmen are starting to waver now, as our bombardments are finally starting to actually connect a little bit, and we're going to be repositioning our line. We're going to be floating around a little bit to the left, trying to match the position of my opponent, which is going a little bit wonky. Really wants to face half my army in one go. I'm not really about that. We would rather go toe-to-toe with the enemy. So we have switched our formation around, and now we have some glorious rocks coming down. The peasant bowmen are starting to feel quite a bit under pressure. Their leadership not looking too strong whatsoever at the moment. Alberic is got the zoomies. He's going up and down the battle line alongside the Royal Hippogriff Knights, and the Gnoblar trappers are getting ready and slowly moving them more and more into position. It looks like the peasants are brave enough. They've kind of hyped themselves up and are going to be charging into the forefront. Gnoblars ready for a good scrap. Screaming saucepans in hand and pointy sticks in the other hand will engage with the peasant mobs. It's going to be a relatively damp noodle contest, but look how just hyped up the Gnoblars are to be involved in the action, and it does warm your little dark heart, it must be said. Now, the trappers are starting to get down and dirty, moving into the backline position, but in come the heavy hitters. The cavalry is afoot, and the scrap launcher is doing decent damage at the moment. The hunter has made himself well aware of the enemy. Does throw a javelin up into Alberic, doing some pretty solid damage actually, but now in come the flyers into my back line. We are going to counter punch with the iron guts. A little bit slow on the draw though, it must be said. The hunter definitely should have been on top of Alberic by now, likewise were the crushers, but hey, a nice little hit and run from the Bretonians, and we're still going to be able to kill at least some of the infantry and have our own way. Looks like the trappers have been spotted by the Companions, which is pretty bad news for the Gnoblar trappers here, but it's hopefully going to open up a gap for the second unit of trappers to get in and start shutting down the peasants. We are forced pathing our way through with the trappers as well, just to try to hamstring and hack down as many peasant bowmen as physically possible. The barrage continues. Looks like the peasant bowmen are finally in position. Going to start wavering some shots down range towards us. Peasants, though, are being beat back rather comfortably by my more elite troops. So I'm trying not to overcommit too much. Iron Guts as well as Crushers do fall back. I'm happy to hold a defensive formation as long as the scrap launchers are indeed alive. I think I've got a good shout of victory. Shutting down the peasant bowmen at range, of course, is rather tasty for me. Noblard Trappers are dealt with. Looks like the Royal Hippogriff Knights actually had to go back to help them out. But look at this. Beast Slayers the Bastion, the Companions, Royal Hippogriff Knights all being forced to defend the back line. And we're still getting in there because we have even more trappers trying to circumvent some spearmen right now and shut down the peasant archers. Looks like Noblards are getting quite over-aggressive, and Crusher's going to follow suit. Big charge into the rear of the peasants who have their shields raised, but unfortunately are getting clattered. Royal Hippogriff Knights are going to come down with the counter-charge, though, and they are very scary indeed. Their wings are up in the sky right now. You can see buffs coming down. I'm desperately trying to retreat back to friendly territory. Stonehorn is going to engage. That's going to encourage the Crushers to turn around and once again go after the Royal Hippogriff Knights. So it does seem like the majority of them are able to get up into the skies, despite a dismember going down on them, slowing them down. Only one is stuck on the ground, although the peasants not having a good day, and the Crushers need to stay together a little bit here just to try to fend off the Royal Hippogriff Knights and Alberic where possible. The Lord is also trudging over. Noblars are starting to falter. Men-at-arms are getting down and dirty with them. With Iron Guts fighting up against men-at-arm polearms, which isn't the best fight, but we are saturated on top of Noblars, so it's certainly not the end of the world. We're doing some pretty substantial damage here, and the Iron Guts will need to fall back, though, as the Noblars start to break off. Peasants are starting to rally in the back line with a big fight going down on the right-hand side now, so we have Crushers mixed in against the Royal Hippogriff Knights alongside the Hunter. That is 3 units of mine versus the Royal Hippogriff Knights. We do now have the Companions moving in as well. We're barely able to scratch them. A well-placed Overcast Regrowth goes down as well. And I'm going to start trying to fall back as fast as physically possible. Now, Crushers do suffer a little bit from not being able to pull out of engagements, simply due to the fact they're quite large and they get pinned in really comfortably because of it. You can see so many of our units are just kind of stuck back here, taking real unnecessary damage. We do pop a Regrowth, but yeah, the units just keep on pulling back into combat. It's very frustrating, but it's not really anything I can do about it. And the Crushers do not want to retreat. I don't blame them. They're warriors and they've got their heart set on victory and battle. Scrap Launcher's still doing a decent job. Balance power is incredibly even at the moment. It looks like the halberds will be going down. Not before doing decent damage to the Iron Guts. We're able to break up the left-hand side of this formation. Hunter was able to escape, but yeah, there's one unit of Troll Guts Crushers are just getting absolutely dumpstered right now. Noblar Scrap Launchers are unleashing hell into the Bretonnian blob, desperately attempting to drag down some of those troops. And we're getting nice aggressive on the front. Look at this. One unit of Noblars chasing away 3 archers. Absolute chads of the Ogre Kingdom, and doing some really nice work here. So this is what I love to see. You know, one relatively cheap unit getting so cost-effective chasing off 3 enemy units. Likewise, another unit of Noblars shall be chasing off men-at-arms, as getting rid of the polearms is quite nice for the rest of my army, which is predominantly Crushers. Looks like the Troll Guts unit, barely able to escape, those still having a significant troubles, are going to get charged by Alberic as well as the Royal Hippogriff Knights up in the skies. And it looks like we're going to get another buff come down. It is an Earthblood keeping these boys nice and active. Noblars, the bravest fools of all time. Never has a person thrown away their life so recklessly and pointlessly as these Noblars. But hey, I love it. We do come with a Dismember as well, slowing down the opponent, trying to stop any kind of pulling away from the Royal Hippogriff Knights, and we're going to move in with our Iron Guts, who are currently being held up by Butcher, plus our Crushers, plus our Hunter, all trying to shut down the Royal Hippogriff Knights. We're doing some relatively solid damage now. Beast Slayers Bastion are holding firm, and they're going to be a big problem for me. They are taking significant damage, though, at the moment, so hopefully they'll start to break. You can see the Royal Hippogriff Knights are getting relatively closer to their healing cap. They are going to receive yet another regrowth go down upon them. That should take them all the way up to their healing cap, you would think. And at the moment, balance power is very slightly in our favor. Unfortunately, we do have the Companions coming back, and they are pretty damn scary boys indeed. Peasant archers are moving into position. Scrap launchers are running really low on ammunition. Crushers are going to countercharge the enemy cavalry where possible and try just to bog them in and do some decent damage. And that should be a relatively okay trade for both players. The Beast Slayers holding firm is rather worrying. Royal Hippogriff Knights still healing quite happily here. And unfortunately for me, the Iron Guts are terrified and running to save their own skin. Someone who's not terrified, of course, is the Hunter, who's going to swoop in and do some nice damage. Alberic swoops in, though, as well to support his boys. And it looks like alongside Alberic, the Crushers will lose the fight against the Companions. Simply being overwhelmed, though they did a relatively solid job there. Scrap launchers are just going to push forward onto enemy infantry now they're out of ammo and try to chase down the archers. You can see elsewhere, Noblar's doing a good job chasing off multiple units. There are still some more men-at-arm polearms who could return. Likewise, I have some Noblars dotted around the battlefield. No one who's going to make that big of a difference, though. The trappers may be able to shut down the peasant bowmen there. Another bone crusher does come in, does some okay damage. Not the most well-placed one there, unfortunately. But here, a couple of cav models, definitely better at the more blobbed-up scenarios where I was just trying to use up my winds of magic where physically possible. Iron Guts are just about holding firm, but I say just about. They are really teetering on the edge right now. They are wavering hardcore style. Getting some nice overhand swings, though, into these pesky Royal Hippogriffs, who have certainly been the MVPs by a country mile, I think, for my opponent. They've been a massive pain in the butt. They're now surrounding the hunter, not really where he wants to be. I have Slaughtermaster support. We even have a scrap launcher coming in for a rear attack. Any help is good help right now. Noblars are desperately attempting to get rid of all these peasants that are around me. It looks like they may just about be able to do that. We are seeing a load of buffs come down. Rally, Heroic Kill and Blow, all the goodies on our Beric. And that's going to be enough to hunt down at the hunter. I do get a Troll Guts, but unfortunately the hunter does indeed break just as I get it on him, which is a disaster for me. The majority of my troops are dead or dying. And with that, the balance power swoops massively against me. Scrap Launcher is trying his hardest. The pesky men-at-arms as well as spearmen are doing a pretty decent job there. Trappers are going to be able to shut down the archers, though. They're going to fulfill their childhood dreams, which came about at the start of this battle, of finally killing some peasant archers, and they are just about going to be able to do that. Likewise, in the distance, we have Noblars shutting down more archers. I'm just trying to make the balance power get as even as physically possible. We are able to pop a Dismember on the Royal Hippogriff Knights, hopefully going to allow the hunter to escape. That Troll Guts is still currently healing him. The main blood fight is going really quite bad, though. The Slaughtermaster is no slouch in combat, but likewise, he is no god of war. He is kind of just an average geezer who's a bit on the larger size. Noblar Scrap Launcher is trying his best, but things are looking really bleak right now. Royal Hippogriff Knights rather boldly give up the chase of the hunter. This is probably Milk and Cookies taking pity on me. We had a game where we played like a day, where we played like a load of games together. We've been doing relatively even before this, having a load of fun games, and we had this one day where he just absolutely slapped me, and I think this is one of those days. He was on good form, I was on bad form, and maybe felt a bit sorry and let the hunter live. Or maybe it was for a cinematic shot, I don't know. I mean, we're going to big Javelin taking down one Royal Hippogriff Knight on approach, but it is going to be a battle of the Titans. Royal Hippogriff's take considerable damage here against the hunter, who's doing decent work. He's also going after Alberic right now, trying to drag low the dreaded enemy general. I think that's my only chance of victory. Maybe kill Alberic, break off the Royal Hippogriff Knights. The tabletop edge is right there, and then maybe we just shatter the remainder of the enemy army, because a lot of it is just breaking. He's got the companions going strong, but all this infantry will break if we're able to kill Alberic, but it is simply a job too tough for the hunter. I don't blame him. I feel like, it's a very rare sight you see a hunter die. Normally they break off the battlefield. This is a sad day indeed for the Stonehorn. He didn't want to be here. He was just forced to fight, and alas, he has gone down. But yeah, that is simply going to be GG's and well played. Hippogriff Knight's going to come in for one last beautiful sunsetting swoop down onto the Noblar trappers, looking to crush them and break their bones. There's going to be many a song written, many a bard is going to flock to the halls of Alberic to sing songs of his glorious victory, but the Slaughtermaster lived, as well did a few Noblars, so you can bet I'll be back for revenge. Very well played to indypride, though. He's got a fabulous channel called Milk and Cookies Total War. If you haven't seen it already, I don't know what you're doing. He's a very awesome dude, massive in the Total War scene, and one of the OGs, so definitely feel free to go check him out. And I love his combination. The Royal Hippogriff Knights were just disgusting. 3.5k gold value. Now, they did receive 2 regrowths, so it must be said, but they are a constant menace in the night for me. 2k value on Alberic really soups them up to be super powered against the Ogres. 3.2k on the Companions is also rather impressive. The rest of his army just got absolutely run over. I don't know if any of these guys are going to have paid for themselves. I mean, 680 value on some polearms is okay. The archers got slaughtered, the infantry got slaughtered, the beast slayers, 940 value. Far less than you'd expect up against the Ogre Kingdoms. It really did come down to the Glorious Knights, which is how it should be with the Bretonnians. For ourselves, it was all about the kind of trying to get the good placement going. And we still got 2.7k value on the Hunter, which is nice, and 1.7k, 1.1k on our cavalry. We simply weren't able to match the might, though, of the healing, which was a big problem for us. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a really good fun one to play. If you did, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up. I'm also putting out 2 videos a day right now, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, because hopefully YouTube will then push my videos to you. It tends not to like more than 1 video a day, but hey, we're going to be saying screw that and trying to get as much Immortal Empires access to you guys as swiftly as possible. And feel free to leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle and what you would like to see in the future. There's a lot of links down below, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Massive shout out to my Patreons and YouTube members. Until next time, guys, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.